think. No, I think about it was 15.
Now, the American stocks, if you're new to Bakersfield and you haven't been down there and watched them, you show up and you think, oh, there's their street stock division. Kind of. They're a little bit different, and I want you to talk about the rules of that division for the listeners up here in the Northwest that have never seen what you guys call an American stock. There are some differences in what we call a street stock up here, and the biggest that I noticed was the tires.
The tires, yeah.
Let's talk about the tire rule in that division.
What's that?
Talk about the tire rule in that division.
I think you got to run an 8-inch tire.
But it has,
and it has to be DOT. It can't be racing tire.
They have to run a DOT street tire, no more than an 8-inch. And we're not talking about a G60. We're not talking about anything else. You go down to your local tire store and you buy your tires.
Well, let's clarify that. A passenger car, too.
Yeah.
Let's not say DOT.
Yeah.
Well, right. But
yeah.
And these cars, now, if you haven't watched these cars, if you haven't had a chance to see them at Bakersfield, I love coming down there and watching this class because they put on some of the best racing you're going to watch. I mean, they're going 3-4 wide. They're banging, they're banging doors. They're racing side by side, and these guys, they put it down.
Yes, they do. Every weekend they race, all these guys put it down.
It seems to be one of the more popular divisions at that track.
Yeah, and my opinion is if you're going to race and you want to get really into it, that would be the class to start in unless you're not wanting to go that fast, then you would go with the mini stocks, which is the 4-bangers. But American stocks are a pretty awesome class, and the cars, you wouldn't think the kind of cars they're racing are what they are. I mean, they're running Cadillacs, they're running big cars because they have to be a 108-inch wheelbase.
Well, Dom and I were looking at pictures that you guys posted. One guy was in a 76 Monte Carlo. I mean, this thing is huge. Yeah. And they get down. They sling these things around. They drive them like late models. I mean, they get these things into the corners, and they're on the throttle, and they're rolled over, and they're backing them in. I mean, they really get down with these things.
Yeah, they're neat.
Yeah, you're looking at Caprices, Monte Carlos, Oldsmobiles. Like I said, the Cadillac's the biggest one, so there's a lot of them out there too. There is.
It's so crazy to watch. It's crazy to watch. Yes, absolutely. So that was who was our top 5 in our American stocks?
Number 1 would be Brandon Radcliffe, and then number 3. Coming home second would be the 15D of Dakota Brown. Third, the 14 of J.D. Mealer. Fourth, the 71 of Candy Varney. And fifth, the 74 of Miranda Scott.
So a couple of young ladies up there in the top 5.
Oh, yeah, and the cool part about the 71 car is that was the car she won last year at the Racing for Ronald night at Bakersfield Speedway.
That's awesome. Very cool deal.
Yeah.
Right on. So, Mike, from our American stocks, stepping up to the next division, what did we have?
We're going to go with the hobby stocks division.
Hobby stocks, again, one of my favorite classes down there. They look like real race. I mean, they look like street cars with aluminum bodies, and again, on the DOT tire, passenger car tire.
DOT tires. These are traditionally Camaros, Novas, two-door hot rods, kind of.
And now this is the class that Dom and I really paid attention to a lot when we were down there Bud Nationals. He really took a liking to that division. Dom, tell everybody why you like that class.
Well, the four-door Malibus, everything is just so obscure. Cars you would not typically see. I loved it. And the creativity put in every car, the tires, everything they worked on was just wonderful. The amount of work and detail that went into making that car go faster without spending a lot of money.
Right. That's the thing, is that you don't have to spend $1 million to go out and again, the racing.
Use your ingenuity, use what resources you have to work with, and go with that.
Absolutely, and it was exciting.
Yeah, this hobby stock division to me has always been my grassroots type of division. When I was growing up watching the hobby stocks back then, in the 80s, they were considered the late models, but it's the same, they were asphalt late models, but they were the same setup. They weren't purpose-built vehicles. These guys, literally, you race it Saturday, you can buy one off of the lot on Sunday.
Right.
It's what it was. You can go out and find the car, put a roll cage in it, put some fresh tires on it, go out there and run.
Now, for those listening around the country that want to know what class we're talking about the hobby stock at Bakersfield Speedway. And you can see those on Moxie Media Promotions from your post from last Saturday at the Bakersfield Speedway, and some of the cars you posted. Good-looking classic cars, very, very entertaining, and they get around pretty darn quick.
Yeah.
They are impressive to watch.
That is some impressive. Well, these guys, and like I say, the creativity and the amount of detail of just work that goes into these. It's not high-dollar parts.
Right.
It's basic stuff.
And for us, Dom, you and I are kind of cut from the same mold. You know, we love the late models, we love the modifieds, but to look at a car and say, oh, that's a 77 Nova, you know.
77 Nova four-door.
Right. It's a pretty cool deal.
Yeah.
So that's why I think you and I both really like that. We get to look at that car and say Chevelle, Nova, Camaro, whatever it is. But let's take us through the highlights of that division. And
the best part about it is you can see the car and tell what it is. Unlike when, you know, nowadays with a modified or a late model, you look at it, you got to find the little emblems to figure out what type of chassis it is. Here, you'll look at it as it comes around and you can pick it out. Nova, Camaro, Monte Carlo, you know. You can find even, you know, a Mercury every once in a while out there, too. It's just, that's the hobby stock division, man.
It's a great division. Walk us through the highlights and tell us who were your top 5, 10 in the feature. Give us the lowdown on what happened with those guys.
This week we had the hobby stocks were informally sponsored by the TV show Survivor because it was a whole lot of outwit, outlast, and outplay because the Johnson family started mid-pack. But it was Kody Johnson in the 11 car able to take the win. And Mike Lewis from Saugus in the 5X, he used to run a dwarf car just a few seasons ago, made it all the way up into second by just outlasting everybody. There was real hard driving early. Unfortunately, cars going out due to mechanical failures, hitting walls, hitting each other.
Hitting each other on a racetrack?
Mike Lewis was able to come in second. Jerry Flippo, that's a familiar name to some of you guys. He runs the Mod Lights, also runs a modified. He ran the 52X, was able to finish third. Zach Johnston in the 4Z, that was his first time out this season. Brought it out, was able to get a top 5 out of it. And then rounding out your top 5 was the 91 of Marcus Wonkum from Wasco, California. That was a top 5 for him, and he drove from towards the back as well and was able to outlast a whole lot of, you know, in-race drama and was able to finish in the top 5.
Well, that is a class, and we see it every year at the Bud Nationals. These guys, there's no friends on the racetrack when these guys are duking it out. It's like taking 15, 20 heavyweight fighters and putting them in the ring for a title match. I mean, there's no love. These guys do it, and they'll put a door on each other, and man, it's entertaining.
Yeah, we had 20 cars.
Start the feature?
Start the feature.
That's crazy. I like it.
How many finished?
That's the question.
Let's see. Last one I believe finished was going to be, I think we had 12 or 13 finished.
That's some carnage.
That's racing, man. That dry slick service down there.
Well, I know 2 of them went out because of mechanical failure. One went out because of 3 went out because of mechanical failure. And then 2 went out because of crashes. So, yeah, we finished with like 14 cars.
That's not too bad, though. I'm starting 20. I mean, that's better than half the field.
We've seen that.
Brian, how did Nicholas Johnson do?
He fared pretty well in the beginning, but it's like Mike said, man, this weekend's race for the H&S Body Works and Towing Hobby Stock was kind of like a melee, man. No one had no patience. And like you said, several went out to mechanical problems. A lot of people were going back and forth. And it's kind of funny because Tom Manzella was in the middle of all that melee up front, and he come all the way back up to 10th to finish. So it goes to show you it could be in your cards or it could not be in your cards, you know, depending on the night or where you start at or how your patients are.
That kid cracks me up because the first time we talked to him at the Budweiser Nationals, he came walking up in the booth, and I turned and I look at him, and honestly, my first thought was, here's a young Jeff Spicoli.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the golden boy. He's got the long blonde hair, the skin tan. Looks like it looks like he should be on a surfboard, let alone a stock car, and he goes out and wins. I mean, this kid, he's one of those young guys we call young guns, or, you know, when these kids coming up through the ranks. You will hear that name out of California as well. I do believe Nicholas Johnson will be one of those guys that goes places.
Yeah, he probably would have been the guy to win the race, but he ended up getting a flat tire somehow around a yellow flag halfway through the race.
That's a bummer deal.
He ended up getting 2 flat tires throughout that race. He was up in the top 3, got a flat tire after he ran over something, came back out on a restart, got bottled up because he had to start towards the back, crushed in the right rear quarter panel, which caused another tire to go down.
Bummer deal.
But he finished 11th.
Well, that's, I guess, all things considered, coming from the back twice to finish 11th, that's not too bad.
No, it's not too bad at all, really.
So from hobby stocks, you guys moved up to what division?
Going to the IMCA stock cars, baby.
Here we go.
This weekend, our car count's been kind of low. We're still missing Pat Biggs and his crew from CVT, which is the California, his company that he owns up in Fresno. They didn't show, so coming home first, as usual, very fast car. Now he switched cars with his brother. He's driving the 159 of Chad Johnson. He come home in the first place. And a Vietnam veteran out of Madera, California, came home second in the 1JX of Steven Streeter. It was great to see him on the podium. And when I did the interviews with the winner and the top 4 drivers, he said that he was smiling from ear to ear, saying that he knows he was going to be able to pass a Johnson tonight. So, yeah.
Well, they're fast, those Johnson boys.
Yeah, and then James Elliott come down to see us. He's out of Hanford. He come home third, and then fourth, the 111 of Tyler Johnson.
Another Johnson. Who was our 5th place car?
That would have been Josh Nichols out of Hanford. I can run them off because we had 8 cars. It was Josh Nichols in the 5th in the 99 car, Gina Hendricks out of Bakersfield in the 6B, and then another one of my favorites. I shouldn't say I have favorites, but this kid is so cool. He's out of Hanford, and he's sponsored by Hanford Towing. He drives the 11 car Brock Hamilton. And then 8th would have been the 15 of Sean Wertzenberger, but unfortunately he didn't go to Tech, so he got DQ'd.
Bummer deal. Seeing that Tech down there at Bakersfield is no joke.
Yeah.
Those guys.
What it is, there's a rail. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Mike?
Yeah?
What were you saying?
Oh, Schwarzenberger, if he would have went to Tech, would have finished 4th for the day.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
But he didn't make it to Tech, and no Tech means no bueno.
Now, you guys, I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you brought that up because you guys do Tech a little bit different than any place I've ever seen it. So, and I say this because a couple of years ago, we were down for the Bud Nationals. Mark Carroll shows up out of Oregon with his modified and finished 3rd. Had a great race against a strong field, finished 3rd. And now the way they do Tech, and I want you guys to run this through it. Run everybody through the way Bakersfield Techs. The top 4 cars, winner goes to victory lane, and the next 3 cars pull up in front of him. Talk about what they're doing and how that works, guys.
Well, first off, they're letting the cars cool down. They're making sure that when they pull off to go to Tech, that there's Tech officials there, because our Tech officials also work on the track itself. So, but our Tech pad is off behind turn 2, so they don't want anybody coming off the track, doing any shenanigans, because you really do have to drive through our hot pits to get to Tech. And if you stop there and you see one of your guys, he can, things can happen, things can be adjusted. They don't want that, so they keep the car out front, top 4 out there. Once everything's done, all right, the parade starts. They parade themselves over to Tech, and they go to Tech.
So winner goes to victory lane. The next 3 cars pull up there on the front stretch, kind of at an angle, kind of do their interviews, what they want to do, let the cars cool. They go off the track to Tech. Now, if you miss that cool down area in front of victory lane and go straight to your pit, done deal.
Wow.
Load up, roll home, DQ. And
it's not even that. It's just you go off of the track